So what's going on over here? Fix this. Who's the stage guy? Jeez, what's going on? All right, guys, how we doing? Nickel City Comic-Con, Buffalo, how's it going? All right. Well, I'm very excited to be here. My name is Tanner Zipchen. A few years ago, many years ago actually now, I was in another city for another con, and we got a massive cast reunion for our next panel. It was a really cool moment, and I met a lot of these guys then, and it's so fun to see them again finally, because it's rare to get a few guys from the same project in the same room, especially such an amazing film like Aliens. So let's bring them out. Your cast of Aliens: Daniel Cash, Jeanette Goldstein, and Mark Rolston. Yeah, that was the Calgary Comic-Con, and everybody was there. Sigourney, it was a whole thing.
Were you there?
I was there. I was in the. I was like, yeah, it was like this big. I had a little lollipop for comic effect. Yeah, no, it was cool. But how often do you guys really get together? I guess only at conventions do you see each other, or do you see people more than others? Like.
Well, you're coming to dinner, aren't you? Like
Okay,
next week.
all right.
We see each other.
Well, we live in the same city and we see each other all the time. Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Better tell her.
That's right.
Yes, you gotta tell his wife.
I've always been an outsider. It's all right.
You're in Toronto.
Toronto.
But we
It's a
see.
Canadian thing.
Yeah, but we go to the, this is what's great about doing it, we get to see all of our friends too,
Yeah, we've actually gotten close over the years, and even my son came here and joined for dinner. It's expanding. This is like a new group of friends I have in my life. It's really weird.
Yeah, and also I heard when they filmed the movie to establish this camaraderie with you guys and to get this bond, they filmed the scene where everybody meets last. Is that true? Did they shoot it? Because I heard they didn't shoot in sequence, but yeah, they filmed the scene where you first meet the Marines. They filmed that at the end, so that way you guys would have like a relationship established. Is that true?
Wait a second, but no, well, I don't know, I mean, the first, no, maybe it definitely was after, because the first scene was.
Yeah, it was one of the earliest scenes. Apparently they shot it last because James wanted to have you guys feeling like you were an actual team.
I think the cafeteria scene was pretty early, wasn't
It was early, but it was after entering into the processing. That was the first.
Right.
The first 2 weeks was going into the atmosphere processing station with the large guns.
Right.
So then, yeah, there would have been afterwards. But yeah, no, but we
But not the very end.
not the very end of the, yeah, but we had 2 weeks before principal photography. That's when they actually start filming to rehearse and be with each other, and that's completely unusual. You never get that time.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good rehersal, what an idea. I mean, that's what you do in theater, but film, nope, show up and you, yeah.
Well, you mentioned the guns. I heard they were like 70 to 90 pounds, and they had to like tape you guys into these things. Is that right? And you couldn't go to the bathroom. Is that a thing?
Oh, it was a complete ordeal. Can you hear me back there? Yes. Yeah, so basically, the day that we were going to test the Steadicam harness, it was a new technology, right? Meant for a camera. Jim Cameron, genius, takes a real MG42 anti-aircraft machine gun, has the armor weld motorcycle parts on it to make it look futuristic, and then stick it onto a Steadicam harness. And all the department heads were there, and Jim said,
All right.
present the weapon. We go like this, and it goes.
It tears the thing off of us.
And all the department heads were looking at each other like, oh my God, what do we do now? And Jim goes, duct tape.
Around us.
Every morning.
Which means, you had to make sure you went to the bathroom because they didn't undo you until lunch. But then they had these stools, special stools for Mark and I with like a little niche there so you could see us sitting off camera. And so we sat next where everyone else kind of took a break, hey, go get a cup of coffee between, we just had to sit next to each other. Like, how you doing? Ready, back hurt?
What's for lunch?
I don't know. And so we became really good friends because we would just sit there together.
I mean, for force, we got to know each other really well.
They put you guys through it. I also heard that the chin-ups and the behind-the-head pull-ups, you did that was all real. That was you.
Yeah.
And then, but multiple takes. Multiple
takes. Oh
Like how?
I was really, really strong, and I could.
Yeah, no,
I
think I would have like one in me, and I'd be like, guys, we're shooting multiple coverage here. We're getting this.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I remember thinking, oh God, I hope they shoot my feet because I don't want them to think there's some guy underneath me. You know, that could happen. But no, I was, yeah.
Trust me. She was ripping them off like it was nothing, like 2 fingers.
Yeah.
And Reed, you know, self-effacing. I was doing the whip pull-up. You know, I was doing
Sissy
the
pull-ups.
but I wasn't able to do one.
I can't even, oh, my shoulder, but I mean, yeah, you can do a pull-up though, it's
I
really,
can do.
yeah, but hard for
Yeah.
women, I mean, we just don't, have the body strength there too, but I
But I
was,
can't do behind the neck one, that's.
no, that one, it has the shoulders and everything, yeah, no, pull-ups are,
Wow, show off.
I know, not anymore, I need assists now.
It's great that that's now forever immortalized, though. You know, that's
So
you're
it's
like,
like, best shape in my life ever, on screen, then my kids were like, what happened to you, Mom? You too happened to me.
Now, I also heard something else. I don't know if this is true or not, because it's funny when these films, you know, they've had this legacy and they float around, and the internet comes around, but there's stories that maybe are true or not. But well, one of those was Sigourney gave everybody a gift when their character was about to be killed off, or there was a gift given. Is that true? If your character was gonna like die that day, she would give you a gift.
You're getting information from some strange.
Yeah, where is this? Is this not?
You're on the internet.
Yeah, this was me. I was in the dark part. I was like in the bottom, and then like in the comments. Did you know? Like it was. So this is not true. There was no gifts given.
I don't think so.
I don't, you know, so some things.
Or did you not just not get a gift?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we should talk to
Yeah.
other. Maybe Lance got a gift.
Call it
Yeah,
Fox.
yeah.
Yeah, where's my
Here's my gift.
I also heard that maybe another in a rumor that you guys partied with the cast of Full Metal Jacket while filming.
Loosely, what happened was.
Okay, loosely.
No, what
Harvey.
happened was Michael and Bill were put into an apartment complex together, and upstairs was a gentleman who was Timmy, a gentleman with Tim Colsari, who was supposed to have been cast out of Los Angeles, former Marine, and he had the role of the drill instructor. But you know, Stanley Kubrick is rather odd. Like your contract is open-ended. He oftentimes won't tell you when you're going to finish. And Timmy had been stuck in London for a year. A year.
I know it's like that.
Oh yeah. And then had the role taken away from him. But anyway.
So Lee, yeah, the drill sergeant was the one who was training him as and then he was like, oh, you know.
Yeah,
It
and
became iconic.
the Arlie Army, whom you all know, and being quite a movie actor,
Yeah.
you know, Arlie was the real deal, and Kubrick finally went, because Timmy did a good impersonation, but he wasn't the real deal. But anyway, they lived in the same apartment house, or a house that was broken into apartments, and Timmy and Bill and Michael made fast friends, and then introduced Timmy to me one evening. I had them over for a poker game or something, and then Tim's an avid, or was a professional golfer, and I'm an avid golfer, and oh yeah, we had the greatest time. We went out to a club nearby London, and Timmy, it was a new course, I said, Tim's new, and he looked at it and said, oh no, this won't do. And they went into the pro shop, he said, where's a really good course? And then the guy said, well, there's Denham Country Club, but it's rather exclusive. They only allow 650 people, and they refused Sean Connery membership because he was an actor. So these are all like CEOs. Anyway, Tim Colsari walked into the pro shop and got us onto the course, and he played with the pros clubs.
Wow.
One little contrast with another group that was there. I always laugh. It was like an episode of I Love Lucy or something. Because in the cafeteria, the Little Shop of
Little Shop
Horrors
of Horrors
cast
were
would
there.
be-
They were filming on the same.
I always liked it because there's these Marines coming in pretending to be real tough, and they were all like,
No, that was really cool.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So they were filming on the same lot. And I remember meeting Rick Moranis, and because he was a friend of Bill Paxton's. And
Canadian.
Yeah. And then we went over to the set of that, and that was really cool. So.
And another Aliens major rumor out there is Lance Henriksen, he had to spew this milk yogurt mix out of him. He apparently got food poisoning.
That's true.
That is True.
He did not
Wow.
refrigerate it,
Oh
someone
my
left
God.
it out, he had to drink it.
He was sick for days.
Oh.
And then I had him to my little house in London, and I was making barbecue chicken on my outdoor grill, and it started raining. I'm out there with an umbrella, and I'm like, this
That's
has gotta
London.
be done.
That's England.
And he cut into one piece that, sometimes has a little bit of pink in it.
Yeah.
And Lance was like, oh no, you have to put this back on the grill. And it was all because he had just been so like, I'm not taking a chance with anything.
Wow, okay. Well, we have a ton of audiences, fans out there, audience questions. So we do have a microphone if you guys want to line up. If you have a question for our Aliens cast. And while they do that, I wanted to ask about the armor. There's a whole story around that and the customizing of the armor. You guys actually got to do it and be involved and do it yourself. Did you know that was coming? Could you prepare ahead of time so you could design it, or was it very spur of the moment? They just
It was spur of the moment. I mean, we'd been rehearsing, and then Jim said, all right, pack up your gear and follow me. He didn't say anything, and we're like ducks following him across the Pinewood studio lot, and then we come to this dilapidated wooden staircase, go up, remember, up this, and then we come into this room with pots and brushes and leather bits and
Spray paint.
and weird shit. And he just went, all right, customize your gear, and walked out. He just left.
Yeah, they must have given us the heads up for the lockers, because we also customized our lockers, because we had to bring stuff, because I had, I found this, that's great, I
We got our
wanted.
gear.
No, but because I had a picture from this book of this carny, and I thought this is my brother, so I kind of, I did pictures that put things in there, so that we were given the heads up, put what you want, your posters in your locker or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the result? 'Cause, I mean, that's putting you on the spot. You got to get in there and you start just designing it. So now you look at it back, are you like, I did a good job? Or are you like, I wish I would have.
Well, Rico has a funny story. When so he starts doing it, and so his wife or girlfriend at the time, whatever, is Heather. And so he's like, oh, I'm gonna do a heart, and I'm gonna put Heather. I'm gonna etch it in there. So he starts etching it in there, and he gets H-E-A-T, and he's like, oh shoot, it's not, the letters are too big, it's not gonna fit. So he got, I color head, So he just did, head Heath, and then he goes like, whoa, everything, you're like, oh, was he gay? Or was he like Heath? Head.
We were at a con once with Rico, and somebody said, so, who's he?
Yeah, you love the stuff. Yeah.
I do like the fact that people do come up with you as playing your costume, that they have those things on.
Oh, when you come and you see
Your
it.
customized idea, little.
Alright. No, it's great that they let us, do that. It's just, that was the respect he gave to actors, for us being part of the whole,
Yeah. And then Michael's, since he isn't here, his unfortunate thing was James Remar was originally playing Hicks, and Michael replaced him admirably. Like within 2 days he was on set, but he had to fit into James Remar's gear.
which he did,
He
Just on the back, you just had Remar forever.
It's kind of
It's
motion
a little
around.
small.
Yeah.
It's a little small. And Michael hated it.
But he
because
had a big-
Yeah, I know, Michael hated that. He's told me, he said, I absolutely hated that. I would never have put that on.
Yeah. One thing I think is he had like a heart, something over the heart. He goes, it's like a bullseye. That they were, he's like, ooh, why? How
Did
so-"
Remar decorate the armor? And
it
then
was
Michael.
Remar was
he had already
gone,
done
and
the.
he arrived, and we went,
Oh, that's.
we were like, who are you? Oh, okay. Had to reshoot, things like that, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. You guys got Remar's wife's name on his armor. Like, that's a little. All right. Okay. Well, let's get to the audience. Go ahead, sir. What is your question?
Hi, I'm Brian, and I told Ms. Goldstein earlier, you guys were one of the reasons why I joined the Marine Corps in the first place. So thank you for that. My question is for Ms. Goldstein. I've watched Aliens well over 100 times since I was 14, and I could never get over how Drake had died when he got sprayed after the alien was shot. And I was wondering, as an actor, did you kind of take that into, further development as you went on wow, I just killed my best friend.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to.
It was a mistake. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, it was, yeah. I mean, that's part of the deal. I mean, you're trying, I wanna go and, you know, you don't leave your people behind, and I'm going out and they're pulling me back, and then you do that, and then.
I was following them.
Yeah, we didn't, I don't know if we
Career.
really knew the acid for blood, you know what I mean, how it would be, you know, yeah. It was pretty bad, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you use everything that you're given as an actor in the circumstances.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances, yeah, I was, you know, friendly fire, I guess. That's a,
A real thing.
real thing to live with. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I was always asked too, like, 'cause this was a sequel. There was obviously the first film that became the classic, but there's always kind of like, there's a stigma around sequels, and it can really go, you're like, oh, how's this gonna go?
Yeah.
But I feel, and I think everyone here will probably agree, when it comes to successful sequels that maybe even are better than the original in some ways, this was a very different film. Aliens was that movie. There was a different movie, but it was damn good, and it kind of broke that like sequel stigma. So was there some hesitancy on getting involved with like a sequel project, or did you know? Because I mean, when James Cameron is attached, I feel like we're doing okay.
Absolutely none of us said, I don't think I want to do this because it's a sequel. That didn't happen. No, Alien was a big movie, and of course, and James Cameron was on the rise because of Terminator. And what an opportunity for any actor. Of course, you jumped in and didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But there's only a few sequels that have worked in the world. There's Godfather 1 and 2. That works. There's Omen 1 and 2. Basically, you can't make 3. Tell me where you made 3. And Aliens is up there for.
I'm trying to think
What
about
about-
that, yeah.
you can't
No,
make
but
3.
it was, obviously, it was not a money grab. The ones that are so bad, you're like, hurry up, get a new one out, we've gotta get on that train, and da, 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 da. As if, you know, just following in the tailwind is gonna do it. And those, you know, this wasn't how many, 8 years since the other one, and different genre,
It was,
different,
yeah.
you know, it was a real, it was thoughtful and,
Also,
you know.
just James Cameron is super talented.
Yeah, I would say.
It's about that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
From start to finish, like in every aspect.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, let's go back to the audience. Go ahead. What's your question?
Hello, everybody. My name is Jackson. I'm here today. My mom's going to be here. She would probably ask this question, but she could not make it. She wanted to say, by the way, ma'am, you are her favorite character of the movie.
Oh.
You've got a lot of focus today. Hello. I just wanted to ask, actually, because I've seen the movie Aliens 2 probably twice, three times, and I have to say, how many of you in the cast were experienced actors? How many of you had done it before? Because all of you had such a great attitude. Well, knew what you were saying, what you were doing, you were really tough. But how many of you had that experience before?
Oh, had
Any experience acting before?
Oh, what was our
Yeah, tell us your life story.
in other words.
well, I mean,
Your training, you know.
Oh yeah, well, Danny, I actually trained at the same place in London called the London Drama Center, and it was like the only method school. We actually had a woman from New York City, Doreen Cannon, who taught us Buddha Hagen method acting work, but an array of teachers from around the world, and the guys who ran the place where we studied had crafted this very particular training that was really sort of geared toward us being able to transform completely. It's very involved and very specific, but we're classically trained actors.
Wow.
So I came from that. I had done 3 movies prior to Aliens, so
Did
yeah.
you do them in England or the United
England.
States? In England.
Yeah, I finished drama school. I went back to New York. I played Richard II for a year touring the United States, and then my first wife, who was British, we decided we'd move back to England, and then was there.
For me, it was like I went to Drama Center, and then I had, in England, it was hard to get your union card. It took me a while to get it, and I got it in the world premiere of The Hobbit. No one had ever done a dramatization of any of that. And I got it because I was the same size as Bjorn the Bear. So while he was transforming, I had to go across the stage as a bear. So yeah, that was exciting. And I
Your
did.
first movie, though, right?
No, it is my first movie, but I actually did one thing before that. I had one scene in the last Days of Patton.
Really?
I actually killed George C. Scott in Patton.
Really?
Whoa!
I was in an army scene, and I was singing "Chicory Chick Chula Chula." That was the song, and it's a true story for Patton. He was killed by his own guys, you know, being distracted or whatever, and I killed George C. Scott. Yeah.
Wow.
And then, but Aliens really was my first thing where I actually had any.
He won the Academy Award for that, right?
That was the second.
No, but the
That
last
was
Days of
the
Patton
sequel.
is a TV movie sequel.
Oh, I thought you were going to.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
So, but then Aliens is really my first movie, and I was shitting my pants.
Yeah. So, similar story. I went to drama school in New York. It had, you know, a lot of different. It was a classical rep kind of training, different teachers from Juilliard and all over. And that was a two-year program. And then I married my English boyfriend and moved over to London and did another year at a London school that wasn't very method. It was very classical again. And then after that, I was about a year. Yeah, I did plays and over pubs and one-person show and just, you know, anything and everything. And then I got my card. Like I said, it was very difficult. Got the card and saw this ad for a movie, and they really wanted Canadian. They said Canadians, Americans, British equity members only. And I was saying, you know, it said for a movie called Aliens, and I just was. But in England, your green card is called your resident alien card. So I thought, because I didn't have an agent, so I thought, well, maybe it's about immigrants or in England, and they, you know, so there's this Canadian kid, and there's, you know, I don't know what. And so I just, you know, sent my resume in and showed up. But I'd never, ever been on TV or yeah, it was terrifying.
Tell them about how you.
Oh, when I walked into the room with
When she walked into her first interview.
That's funny, so I was just about to ask really quickly if you had any personal anecdotes, any of you about
So,
that
yeah,
related to
so
that. Perfect.
usually when you have, did you have an agent so you knew what you were doing when you
I
were?
had an agent.
You had, so they said, okay, you're gonna be meeting, they usually say, you'll be meeting so-and-so, and this is something, and a little outline or whatever, here's your audition thing. And I just, it was like, show up to this office, which is weird, because when you audition for stage, it's on a stage, so an office. And I went to the office, and there was this woman, this girl, I mean, she was 29 years old, I was 25, and she was behind a desk. I was like, hi, and on the wall was a poster of Terminator, and I'd just seen the movie like the other night, and I was so good, I dragged my husband, I said, I'll see it again, oh my God. And I was like, oh, that's the greatest movie, I just saw it. And she goes, yeah, that's ours. And I remember thinking, ours? Who are you? I didn't say that. I was like, I better shut up. I'm gonna say something really stupid. You know, it's like didn't know who she was, who was directing. Yeah, and then she said, "Okay, sit down. Do you have any idea why you're?" Okay, let me explain. Have you seen the movie Alien? I said, yeah, that was great. Well, this is the second part. Oh, you know, and it's gonna be a bunch of Marines that are going back. I'm like, oh, and so you're auditioning for a Marine, and then that's what I thought, I am dressed completely, I got high heels on. No, it's true, and I lived, you know, it was an interview, and I had long hair, and you know, but the lucky thing was, I was wearing a blouse like this, and it was because it was a hot day, and I was like, oh, Marines, and I remember I went like that, and then she was like, oh my God, and she said, you're not an actor, or you're a body? I said, no, I am an actor, but I do this, you know, I go to a gym and I work out with guys and things. It's like, really, you know. And then she said, do you know any other actresses who have, you know, I said, I don't know any other women except for the gym's owner's daughter. That's it, it's me and her, you know. And so that's when they were like, oh, you know. Anyway, long story how it all happened, but yeah. And then the next time, of course, she said, okay, can you come back and maybe dress a little more appropriate? So I'll absolutely wear my boots, wear my jeans, my hair scraped back, and you know.
Isn't it insane
how she got that part.
I know,
It's
it's-
incredible.
It was, you know, I mean, the thing was, I had been in the best shape.
Doesn't happen.
No, it was weird, you know, it was, I guess, 2 years out of drama school, and I'd always been a tomboy, and I was a gymnast, and I lived next to this gym, and Mr. Britton happened to be working out there, so I saw all these bodybuilders, and I was, I thought, oh, that's cool, I know how to do it, and I was like, what the? So that was 2 years, I was just auditioning, and then I would go, just for my mental health, lift weights, and so I was in the best shape of my, it was only kind of like collide,
Understand, she was ripped.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
And Rico Ross and I, who would we shared a dressing room with this big long mirror, and we were always in competition about, okay, I got 6, you got 4, get out of here,
I know I had, I was,
But she put us to shame. I'm telling you. And I, when I was preparing, well, the one caveat when I got the role was Jim said, we're gonna need you to bulk up, because I only weighed 180 pounds. And over the course of almost 4 months, they picked me up 6 days a week at 4:30 in the morning, go to Pinewood Studios. This guy, John Leese, who was actually the practical power behind the power loader, when Sigourney, John Leese was the power. He was behind her dressed in black, and his biceps were like 2 of my thighs put together. But he was
laid the power loader? That's amazing.
He moved it.
Wow.
That's how strong.
Yeah.
But this guy put me through my paces. I ended up being 230 pounds because I was eating it wasn't human growth hormone, but it was a Bragg's amino acid drink, and it kind of increased your metabolism. So I was just hungry, and because I was working out 8 hours a day.
that doesn't happen to women, unfortunately. We don't have any testosterone, that's 2 years. So no, but in those days, women didn't, it was all heroic. Women didn't lift, normal, regular women. I mean, there was, the bodybuilder ladies, and actually they were going to cast a bodybuilder because they really wanted that physique, and then so there was this bodybuilder, she'd won some and they were teaching her how to sending her to acting classes like they'd done to Arnold, let's do this, and then she could be, and so that was what they were doing, because I came in very late when they all of a sudden discovered me. It was like, oh shit, we found an actress who actually, whatever, so. Yeah.
And then that was Jim McHale's contention was the studio kept saying, yeah, but she's this, and Jim was like, she can't act. She cannot act. So
There you go.
That's incredible. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, we've got only 1 minute left, so we're gonna try to get to everybody we can. But thank you so much for your question, and we're gonna do a turbo speed round right now. We're gonna fire through everyone on the line. So go ahead. What's your question?
Hi, my name is Christian, because I've watched Alien franchise before. So what is your guys' favorite scene?
Favorite scene?
favorite scene, my death scene.
Okay, great.
And the
And
first
no
Alien,
gift from Sigourney. And no gift from Sigourney.
No gift.
the first Alien, when all of a sudden it goes, oh God, the chest bursting out of his.
My favorite scene is me faking the pullback before the ship goes forward, where I didn't know that I had to fake the launching of a ship. So as a freaking out actor, I went like this, and then the ship goes. It's on the screen, so that's my favorite scene.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have you guys seen the crossover of the Alien vs. Predator?
Have you seen Alien vs.
I never
Predator?
watched it.
I have not yet.
Was in that.
Okay.
Go. All right. Go ahead, sir. What is your question?
Real quick, and this one's for you. My friend Tommy, he loved your comment on that autograph. I won't say it because there's children here, but
Oh.
his favorite scene out of the movie.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right, last question. Go ahead.
For Jeanette, I was a 16-year-old and saw the film in the theater. It was amazing. It changed my life. I wanted to go to USC Film School. I got in, but it was just too much.
Oh.
So, I'm curious. I'm 25% Jewish. How did a Jewish actress play a Latina? I'm just really, and that's a long answer. We'll take it at the table, but I'm very curious.
Oh, well, we go to every country there is. We are everywhere. We are shapeshifters. Character actors. I only got to play my first Jewish character just recently, a Holocaust survivor. So I played different Irish and different. So you just create a real human being. And so you don't want to be a stereotype for any, you want to be a real human no matter what you are, even a monster. So
It's a little too bad these days that Latinos don't get to play Jewish, every
Yeah,
every actor wants to play all.
it's a difference between acting and access. you know, every actor should have access to, you know, be for a role and all
And you
that.
had the tan and everything. I
Oh.
really thought you had the accent.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know Spanish, just the bad words.
All right, thank you so much.
Amazing, thank you so much. We'll give it up one more time for our cast of aliens. We got Daniel, Mark, and Jeanette. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Come by our table, we're here all day.